Welcome to the Bill and Gypsy Show.
Where we help you turn your wedding dreams of sunshine, lollipops, and rainbows
Into amazing experiences as we make you the envy of all your friends, and we will help you plan everything and be your trusted advisors throughout the process, along with our wonderful guests.
Well, Bill Hansen, he's catered over 10,000 weddings, started back in the 1960s. And y'all, while he is 74 years young, he is not retired. He is refired. His South Florida weddings at Villa Woodbine, the Sky Museum and Gardens, Deering Estates, Bath Club, you name it, over 500 venues, have been sought after with those with very distinctive tastes.
And there's more to Gypsy than simply sunshine, lollipops, and rainbows. She's lived the wedding experience through her whole life, and Gypsy knows what works, and she knows what doesn't work. So if you're a couple out there and you're excited about your forthcoming wedding, yet you might be confused, you might be frustrated, you might be overwhelmed, or you might be concerned about your budget, what we're going to do on this show is to help you create wonderful planning experiences and make your wedding one of your dreams that will create oohs and ahs from all of your guests.
On today's show, it's all about bridal fashion, one of my favorite topics, and how to make a statement with that perfect wedding gown. Miss Shawne Jacobs, the creative director of Anne Barge, is going to share with us all about what today's bride is looking for in an actual wedding gown. And I have known Miss Shawn for over, I guess, 15 years. We were like, she was 10 and I was 15. Anyways, I am so honored to have you on the show. Welcome to the show, Shawn.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, welcome, 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 Shawn. Now, I have a question for you. Obviously, your brand is highly respected in the bridal couture fashion industry, and many brides are excited about purchasing your gowns. But how did you get started? In other words, how did you end up in this business?
So I am originally from Louisville, Kentucky. I started out majoring in architecture. And, halfway through college, I decided that's not what I wanted to do full time or, as a career. So kind of did a little bit more research, always was drawing, very interested in art. And I decided I wanted to go to fashion design school. So I moved down to Atlanta, Georgia to finish up my junior and senior year and majored in fashion design and marketing. And right out of college, there was a designer, Anne Barge, who, her company was 2 years old at the time. And she was hiring, entry-level position for shipping and receiving. And I remember thinking to myself going to that interview, I have a college degree, double major. Why am I going to interview in shipping and receiving? And, I tell girls that are, and guys too, that are coming out of fashion design school or marketing, that was the single best decision in my career and that I chose to do and take that leap of faith and got my foot in the door. So I started out in shipping, receiving, and then, slowly moved into production and as well as sales and started doing trunk shows and designing, as an assistant under Anne, and just kind of worked my way up through Ambarge. And then I guess back in 2014, so we're now going on 6 years, Anne was looking to retire, and she approached my husband and I and asked us if we would like to purchase her business. So my husband Stephen and I have now been the owners of Ambarge. I'm the creative director here. He's the CFO. It's nice to have that support from your husband, and we have a wonderful staff of designers under us as well, and a great employees in shipping, production, advertising, and you name it. So that's kind of how I got started and where I am today.
And actually, we met right after you just started, like a year or so after
we did.
You started.
Yep.
At Bridal Fashion in New York. So I seen your position actually changing the whole time when we kept seeing each other. And I always saw how Anne really trusted you and had faith in you. I saw that all the time. But as your position in the company evolved, and to design and all. How do you feel as a designer you have kept in touch and kept your pulse on what the brides are looking for in gowns?
Sure. I think, we have a showroom here in Atlanta. So, working directly with the brides here, or being able to, listen to the appointments when our director of retail operations is working with the bride. I'm able to, listen to, what she's looking for in her wedding dress. Is it a particular neckline? Is it the way that she wants it to fit? Is it the skirt shape or the details on the dress? I think having been on the road for so long doing trunk shows and being the director of sales at Ambarge before moving into this position, I, networked a lot with store owners and store managers, and, really have an ear as far as listening to what their brides want. I think that's so important, because we can design, pretty dresses all day long, but I think there's one thing to be aspirational and have some dresses on your line that are aspirational, and then there's others that, exactly what your customer is looking for. So I think that helps me in designing, when it's that time, twice a year that we're designing a new collection. And then occasionally I will still go on a trunk show, and see, it's nice to see what your competition has and, what brides are reacting to. So.
Do you feel,
So,
go ahead.
how would you describe the Anne Barge bride? How would you describe that young lady?
Well, she's always been timeless. I think you hear everybody in the industry, when they think of Anne Barge, they always say she's timeless, but she's definitely a classic bride who embodies modern sophistication. And I think that's where our line has kind of, transformed over the last 20 years. We just celebrated our 20th year anniversary last October in New York during Bridal Fashion Week. But I think that modern sophistication, you can see that throughout the years really intertwined with the classic styles.
As a designer located in Atlanta, Georgia, do you feel that Southern flair has hit Anne Barge, or is it Anne Barge Southern flair plus everything else that encompasses a bride from anywhere in the U.S. or all around the world?
Sure, it's both. I mean, I definitely think you can see the Southern flair in our designs, especially within our ball gowns. I think, you hear, I'll have some sort of say it's like very Gone with the Wind with some of our ball gowns. But in saying that, I would say the Northeast, the tri-state area, New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut, our line does extremely well there. And I think that's where that modern sophistication comes in too. And in the bride wanting to be timeless. So yes, it still has that Southern flair. I think we're all, everyone that works here at Ambarge, we're all known for our customer service and just, that Southern hospitality that we give everyone, whether you're a store, a bride, or a guest coming into our offices or our showrooms in New York. But yeah, it definitely appeals to all different types of brides, whether you're living, in the U.S., and then we also sell to many retail stores internationally as well. So it definitely has evolved into an international brand.
Well, I'm very impressed, Shawn. I've never really been too much into the bridal gown business. I love to tell the story about the bride, and this is a true story, the bride whose wedding dress was stolen from her car 3 hours before her wedding. 3 hours.
So how did you handle the situation, Bill?
Well, that's a good question. First of all, this was in 1992, so there weren't a lot of bridal planners back in those days.
Right.
So, but there was one by the name of Lois Beinhorn, who was the founder of the bridal planning business down here in South Florida. She had the home number of one of the bridal salon owners, called the owner up, and brought her in, brought the bride over, and the bride was a perfect size 3. She got fitted, and of course she was late for the wedding. It was at one of our best venues, Villa Vizcaya. And so as the caterer, I opened the bar early. We started passing hors d'oeuvres, and we waited anxiously for the bride to arrive. When she arrived, of course, everybody was in great spirits because they'd had a couple
Right.
of drinks, and everything went off without a hitch. So the next morning, the bride's brother came by and to pick up. If you've been in the business, they always forget something. Did you find a shoe? Did you find a ring? Did you find a camera? Whatever it is. And he came by to pick up some things. And I asked him who stole the wedding dress. And he said, well, we found out it was the groom's former girlfriend.
Oh my goodness.
So
Wow.
that was like the ultimate revenge. But
that is the ultimate revenge. But thank goodness for, whew,
yeah, that was great.
happy ending, right?
It's a story I love to tell. Yeah, a happy ending for sure. So Gypsy wanted me to ask you this question.
Yes.
She put it on my script. So is color coming back in bridal gowns? Okay.
I would say right now for us, it's not. A couple seasons ago, maybe like 2 years ago, you were starting to see a lot of color. We even did a blue wedding dress, still blue color, and it was beautiful and breathtaking. And it made it so special because it was so different than what you're typically used to seeing. And we used to do a lot with blushes and taupes but I would say the last 2 seasons, we are having so many brides that keep saying, I want to feel like a bride. I want to be in white, or I want to be in a pearl or silk white. So right now, a lot of the dresses that we're designing, and even if it has beading on it, they don't necessarily want metallic. They want it to be all tone on tone. It's fine if it has, a little bit of shimmer, but they're really loving that silk white color. And I think, again, it's just, we really saw the pendulum swing back as far as bridal fashion within the last, year, the last 2 seasons. And, I think because of some of the 2 royal weddings that, we recently have had in the past, and then some celebrities that were married, and they're wearing long sleeves and covered up, girls are wanting to, to look like that and wanting to really feel like a bride. So I don't think color has gone away, but it's certainly not high on the ordering list, in terms of our orders coming in and what brides are requesting.
So basically, the brides are going back to more that traditional, the white, off the white.
They are.
And all. So are they also, what else are they looking for a gown, in the sense of, is it the fit, the actual styling, the texture, the movement of the gown? What are they?
So it depends on the bride. I think each bride is different in terms of what they, what matters most to them. For some brides, it is the fit. We have brides that, they want their waistline to, look amazing, and they want to show off their curves. So that's the most important for them. And then you have brides that, 3D texture right now is very trendy. And you have brides that are wanting to see that in the embellishment on the dress, whether that's done with different laces or with a combination of lace and beading. And then you still have, I'd say for mothers, it's all about quality. The moms still really can appreciate the, silk fabrics and the details, and, how many hours it takes to hand bead, the beading on these dresses. So that's really nice to see that, that appreciation, and that can be important for some of those brides. So it really depends on the bride that you have and her personality.
Wonderful. Well, I think we probably should address the elephant in the room sooner rather than later, I guess. But obviously, we've all been impacted by the COVID virus, and down here in South Florida, it's impacted us. We've had many couples postpone their weddings, cancel their weddings. However, 2021 looks to be a great year, the best year ever. But how has the economy impacted your business, Shawn? How have you had to adjust the way you do business in order to stay current and also stay in business and keep the cash going?
Sure. Yeah, it's definitely affected our entire bridal industry, and it's a trickle down effect from the bride to the retailer to the designer to, our manufacturing facilities, fabric mills everywhere. So we've had to really stay on top of, you know, our deliveries and making sure that, you know, we're delivering brides' dresses on time that have already purchased from us. Right now that things, you know, most of our retail stores are back open. So we have a lot of brides that were not able to go wedding dress shopping, you know, during the time that all the stores were closed, whether it was 2 to 3 months. So those brides are eager to get into the stores. Many of them need rushes. So we decided to waive all rush fees for any remaining 2020 brides so that, you know, she can get a dress and she's not having to pay extra because of, you know, because of the situation, you know, with COVID-19. We also started doing virtual bridal appointments, which we encouraged a lot of our retailers to do for a bride that, you know, just obviously couldn't come into the store during that time or is still even cautious. I mean, right now in the state of Florida, Georgia, you know, so many of our states, our numbers are rising with, you know, the virus. So I think people are starting to get a little bit nervous again because of that. So the virtual bridal appointments are super important to be able to connect with that customer. But we're seeing brides still shopping. And it's interesting, Bill, because I get a lot of questions from different media outlets, you know, do we see the price point of what brides are willing to spend because of this? And, you know, when the recession hit back in like 2008, we certainly saw that trend. You know, if a girl was spending $6,000, now she was spending $4,000. But we are seeing the opposite right now. We are seeing brides spending more because they're having smaller weddings or they're having these mini monis, as the term is. And, you know, for them, they still want the dress. And now because they're not having 120 plus or 200 plus, you know, people at their wedding, they all of a sudden have more budget for their wedding gown, which is awesome. You know, it's great for us because we're having a lot of fun, or we're having the girls buy 2 dresses. So
I love what you say because it's good for you and I'm happy for you, but being a caterer, it's bad for us because we're seeing the counts drop considerably.
You're seeing the counts drop. Yeah.
Right.
I
we're seeing
imagine
more smaller weddings. So we're seeing numbers in adding of the smaller weddings. And
we're finding a lot of our brides have postponed their wedding for a year out. So, you know, if they were getting married October 2020, you know, if that date was still available at their venue, they're, you know, switching it to October, you know, 2021. And I think, you know, a lot of brides have now come to term with that. And, you know, obviously they want to be married, but they know they're going to get to have their special day. And, you know, we all keep saying, like, love is not canceled. You're still a bride and, you know, you're going to get to marry your fiance and it's going to be beautiful. It may look a little different than what you initially, you know, imagine, but it's still going to be a joyous day.
You know, as talking about, I've got actually, it's kind of like a twofold question. Sometimes what happens globally influences the styling of a gown. So I'm wondering, just the same way, like in the 50s or whatever, the gowns were shorter and what have you, I'm wondering if that's going to influence your styling, the way you design. And then also, how do you advise a bride when she's choosing that dress? I mean, how do you advise her?
Sure. We've been telling brides, you know, we've had girls that have already purchased and obviously they've had to change, you know, they decided to do something smaller and, you know, now they're getting married out in their parents' backyard versus a venue. And they've asked, I don't know if my dress is appropriate anymore. So we've advised them in like how we could change their existing dress to make it more appropriate for the, you know, the month that they're getting married in now, or, you know, for the venue. Or we've also advised brides, you're still the bride. You know, you're still going to have those pictures and you in your dress. And if you love this dress, then get married in this dress. I always tell girls, you know, I got married outside. I had a long chapel veil outside. I wanted to wear that veil, even though, you know, it was probably getting caught on the grass, but that was the way I wanted to look and feel on my wedding day. So I don't really think, you know, just because, you know, they're having to do these smaller, you know, weddings that they can't have the dress that they want. However, I do think we will see designers incorporating, maybe it's tea-length dresses, or for us, you know, we're doing a lot of like beautiful pantsuits or, you know, dresses above the knee. And maybe a bride is wearing that for her mini-moni, and then she's buying her dress that she would, you know, normally wear for her wedding that's going to be a year out, or, you know, when she has a party for her reception. So you'll see we have a little white dress collection that's going to be debuting in November. So that's kind of our way to, you know, be able to offer some of those styles that are a little bit dressed down compared to our Ambarge collection.
Well, Shawn, I really can't thank you enough. I have never met you in person, but after listening to you, I've not only learned a lot about wedding dresses and bridal gowns, but I can't wait. I really can't wait to meet you in person one day. So
Same as well, Bill. I'll have to come down to South Florida.
maybe right now to those shows, and we can meet. But thank you for sharing with our viewers. So I think the screen's going to put up a way for our viewers to reach out to Shawn. And I also want to ask our viewers to be ready. You know, every week we do one of these shows, so tune in next week for our next show. And if you have questions, if you have comments, if you have concerns, whatever, please send us a text or an email. And if you liked what you saw, I really liked this one. This was really
Well,
cool.
thank you, Bill. Thank you, Gypsy.
I was way out of my comfort zone when we got into it. But now I feel like I could even talk intelligently about a wedding dress to a bride. So thank you. And if you like it, also click the like, but then also subscribe. So thank you, Miss Gypsy. Thank you, Miss Shawn. And thank you to our viewers for watching. And have a great day. Have a blessed day. And may God bless each and every one of you.